Hello everyone. Happy Monday. My name is Grace. I'm the scheduling coordinator for NJ4S Union Hub, and today starting our new monthly webinar series for November, Grounded in Gratitude, Wellness Through Heritage, Service, and Self-Care with our supervising prevention consultant, Cheryl Tolentino. She will be presenting Wisdom and Wellness, Indigenous Perspectives on Mental Health. So some information about her. Cheryl Tolentino is a supervising prevention consultant with 25 years experience in mental health. She holds a bachelor's degree in psychology from Boston College and a master's in counseling psychology from Seton Hall. Her desire to be in the helping profession ignited when a close friend survived a suicide attempt in high school, and she felt the need to educate herself and empower herself to help others who felt the same desperation and loneliness that her friend felt. Her position here at NJ4S Union Hub has allowed her to continue with that personal mission by educating and empowering others, her staff here at NJ4S, to provide students here in Union County the tools to cope and thrive despite mental health challenges. To sustain her own mental health, Charlotte enjoys baking as a hobby and watching action movies on the big screen and crime dramas on the small screen. So without further ado, I will now hand it off to Cheryl.
Welcome. Please have patience with me. I'm suffering from a cold, and I want to acknowledge that this beautiful presentation, is actually the work of Josetta Bentley, who is currently performing an anti-bullying presentation. As you know, NJ4S, a wellness initiative from the state, catering to ensure that youth are thriving and have the tools and education to support their wellness, whether that be physical, mental, and spiritual. And so she's out there delivering those services. And so I hope to do her presentation justice. Please be patient with me and allow me the grace and honor to present this presentation regarding honoring Native American heritage, healing, wellness, and the wisdom of nature. I'm hoping today that you will find in this presentation indigenous wisdom that can help that you can incorporate in your own journey of wellness. By exploring the traditional healing practices, community wellness values, and the deep connection that Native Americans have for nature and how that affects their mental health and their overall wellness, you can find that they'll be able to, there are a lot of great benefits that this culture has that we can hopefully incorporate into our own practices of wellness. Honoring indigenous wellness. Indigenous wellness is grounded in the idea that everything is connected. Everything. That means body, mind, and spirit, but also community and the natural world. They understand that we as individuals cannot be well unless we have those connections to everything around us and surround us. They believe that health isn't just about the absence of illness. It's about living in harmony with everything that surrounds us. That includes our family members, that includes our community, our neighbors, as well as our ancestors and the environment. That includes not only fauna, like the plants and the land, but also animals as well, and to respect that. They do this traditionally through healing practices, and these healing practices might include ceremonies such as storytelling, the use of herbal medicines, prayer, and their connection to the land. Elders and healers play a key role in providing healing practices because they pass on this wisdom that they've been preserved for generations. They have learned it from their forefathers, and they have kept it and passed it on to future generations. These practices are not just alternative medicine. They are sacred cultural systems of health that have been tested through time. The key elements of native healing are the respect of medicine people. These are individuals or held in high regard because they are considered spiritual and physical healers, leaders in the community. They understand the importance of ceremonies and rituals, such as sweat lodges, smudging, drumming, and vision quests. Native American healing practice also understands the importance of sacred plants, such as sage, cedar, sweetgrass, and tobacco, and how they can be important to physical and mental well-being. And of course, as mentioned previously, they believe in holistic healing, that the mind, body, and spirit are inseparable, and you cannot treat one without treating all of them to ensure that everyone thrives. The importance of community and culture for Native Americans is held in high regard. They understand that community is central to Indigenous wellness, that healing often happens collectively, as we had mentioned previously, through gatherings, talking circles, or ceremonies. Not only is community important, but also culture itself is medicine. They ensure that future generations understand that and speak their traditional languages, understand the importance of dancing and singing ceremonies, and connecting to the ancestors. When people are reconnected to their culture, it strengthens identity and resilience. And we'll discuss this later on in the presentation. As we had mentioned previously, medicine people are held in high regard. They are healers using herbs, prayers, and natural remedies to treat illness and restore balance. They are looked on as spiritual leaders, connecting with the spiritual world, their ancestors, and to receive guidance through visions. They are ceremony keepers. They basically lead rituals, such as we talked about before, sweat lodges, smudging, vision quests, pipe ceremonies, and their community counselors. They resolve conflict within the community members, and they're often, tapped into when there's grief or loss or illness. Becoming a medicine person chosen by a spirit, dreams, or vision. They are trained by elders through long apprenticeships, and they recognize that they must serve their community with humility, but they must be also taken with deep respect. Now, you must understand that the knowledge that they hold is important for the community, and that these healing practices are not meant to be shared or reproduced. So these roles that they hold, they are the keepers of that knowledge, and they understand that they have their duty in helping their individual tribes members, their community, and passing on that information is not to be shared with others, because it might be misappropriated or done incorrectly. So we must always respect their role for this community, and we must honor the indigenous sovereignty and traditions that Native Americans have. As we talked about before, community is the strength of the Native Americans, and it holds great value upon their wellness and how they thrive, not only as individual members, but as a tribe or as a community. They see that it's a collective responsibility for individuals, that they contribute to each other's healing, and they see it as a shared journey. They understand that every member of the tribe, every member of the community holds a responsibility to uphold themselves and the tribe. So elders are seen as wisdom keepers. They are guiding their tribe through storytelling, oral traditions, and lived experience. They understand the importance of meeting up as a community and having events such as healing spaces, song, dance, and seasonal rites. And they understand that each person plays an important role in making their community thrive. Another important value for the overall wellness of individuals, the recognition that we are connected to nature, and that nature provides us with the tools and support to help our well-being. They understand that land is a powerful healer, that mountains, rivers, forests are sacred, and they're therapeutic. They need to follow the natural rhythms for emotional and spiritual alignment. That nature provides them with the tools to heal themselves. And they also recognize that animals are part of nature and are part of the healing process as well. They see them as sources of strength, insight, and identity. And that's why you see a lot of them in their art, in their totem poles. They respect animals and nature. Nature is not a backdrop. It is a partner in their healing process. The impact of colonization. Of course, I think everyone understands that when the European settlers came into North America, of course, they disrupted the life of Native Americans through displacement, through forced assimilation, and banning of traditional practices. This colonization caused historical trauma that still affects communities today. There's high rates of substance use in Native American communities now, are showing incredible resilience and they're working against and healing themselves against this trauma by reclaiming languages, relying on their past ceremonies that they learned from their ancestors and their elders, and learning to incorporate their indigenous healing practices to restore balance and health. They do this through storytelling as a survival. As we mentioned before, they are preserving their traditions, their identity through storytelling. They're recognizing what their ancestors have done, have shown resilience through difficult times, through honoring past heroes, past leaders. They are passing down values of community and healing tools. By reclaiming storytelling and reclaiming their cultural practices of healing and ceremonies and rituals, they are resisting the erasure of their culture. They are continuing to thrive and adapt and realizing the strength that they have as Native Americans. And they are trying to show that they are proud in their culture and that they ask for respect from the community, that they have sovereignty over the lands that they possess, that they are the stewards of these lands. So there are land back movements that they are asking for recognition that they have sovereignty over the lands that they once possessed. This shows that they're strong in their culture and their values. Now, there's a lot of things that we can recognize and see regarding these wellness values that the indigenous community has, that we can incorporate into our own lives. The idea that we have to treat the whole person, that we cannot just go to a doctor to treat just a physical pain, that sometimes that requires like spiritual interventions, as well as possibly mental, like therapy. Or it means also connection to the land, reconnecting with nature, walking, meditating, listening, that can be incorporated into our self-care and making sure that we are whole. And we're seeking balance, not just productivity. And that we must understand how our participation in the community, our relationships with others can help us in our wellness. That in isolation, we cannot help ourselves become whole unless we are connected with others and with nature. And the importance of creating rituals. Rituals such as daily or seasonal for grounding purposes. Again, this is connecting ourselves with the community, with the earth, with nature. Self-care isn't self-centered. It's rooted in respect, rhythm, and relationships. We have touched upon collective healing in previous presentations, and there's something to acknowledge about the indigenous collective healing and understanding our part in helping them heal. Because if we help and support our indigenous communities in America, we also help ourselves. So we have to acknowledge the land acknowledgement practices. We have to support them and respect and recognize how these indigenous people are the traditional stewards of the pieces of lands that they have lived on, and recognize the pain that they have gone through displacement and offer them support in regaining sovereignty over those lands. We also have to recognize and incorporate those indigenous wellness practices into taking care of the indigenous communities by supporting indigenous-led wellness initiatives. For example, the Indigi Wellness Healer Campaign for Youth, which is an establishment of culturally safe First Nations primary care centers, which incorporates cultural practices such as traditional healing, elder guidance, and land-based activities alongside modern medicine. Collective healing also means cultural humility in serving individuals of the Native American community. What does that mean? It means Western practices of mental health might not be appropriate for individuals who are Native Americans. That therapists who are working with these individuals need to understand and respect their culture and incorporate that into their therapy process. So yeah, whether that means doing rites and rituals such as smudging, such as incorporating natural herbs into their practices, and just honoring that and respecting that individual and the cultures. Of course, collective healing also means advocating for indigenous rights. Remember, we must support our indigenous communities. And we must center that around justice and sovereignty, because as we know, if we don't help those in our communities, we don't help ourselves. So before I leave you, I want to talk about how we must respect the sovereignty, acknowledge traditional knowledge, and support self-determined healing in a way to honor indigenous wellness. So this means listening to indigenous voices, collaborating in culturally safe ways, and not appropriating practices. There are small acts of respect like land acknowledgements, using proper national names, and learning local histories that also matter. So I leave you with three reflective questions. What practices from indigenous wisdom can you bring into your own life? How can we support Native American communities and honor their contributions to healing? And lastly, how does this shift of your understanding of wellness? Basically, how does this knowledge of indigenous wisdom, shift your understanding of how wellness means to you. This last slide shows you resources if you want to look further into learning from indigenous educators and healers about ways to support them and to support your own wellness. I just want to thank you again for coming to listen to my presentation, and I appreciate your time, and hopefully you will look further into the contributions that the Native Americans have contributed not only to our wellness but also to the American culture. So thank you, and also feel free to give feedback. And I appreciate Josetta Bentley again for providing this wonderful presentation. I don't think I did it justice, but I'm hoping that you learned something today and hopefully willing to look into and respect Native American culture.
Thank you very much, Cheryl, for this very engaging presentation on Indigenous health, and thank you to everyone else for tuning in too. If you would like to give feedback to this presentation, you can just use the link in the chat. We would greatly appreciate it. If you enjoy our presentation and you want to keep up with what NJ4S Union is doing in our community, you can just follow us on social media at NJ4S Union. Thank you again for joining us and have a great rest of your day.